Is the USD the place to be, the US dollar, currently right now in the short term? Look, there's a case to be made, or two main cases to be made for both, and we'll be discussing that topic in the next 2 minutes that will be starting. But look, in the first 1 minute of the show, look, we've got to do the synchronized slurp. That's where you grab a tasty beverage. I grab my tasty beverage and we slurp them synchronously together here at Good Morning Stackers with me, Joe Main. Are you ready? Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Slurp it, people. I know, getting out the gate early. Again, we'll start this topic about USD place to be. We'll also do live gold, silver, Bitcoin analysis, crypto analysis, maybe a chart request if we have time, but we'll get to that topic in just a second. But if you're uninitiated, who the hell am I? I am Joe Main. I am from Melbourne in Australia. I'm going live out on X and on YouTube right now. Use the time codes below if you're watching this on the replay to go to your favorite part. But if you're watching live, you get to enjoy everything we do. I'm Joe Main, and I've worked in the precious metals industry. I've been a stacker of gold and silver since 2010. I've been a stacker of crypto since 2013. I've worked for 3 major gold and silver bullion dealers here in Australia, and I've also launched and grown many YouTube channels. Bullion Now, Ainslie Bullion, I revitalized them. I do other kind of businesses. If you have a business that you think can benefit from a YouTube channel, and you really can, hit me up with an email at gmstackers@gmail.com. Send it to your boss, or if you're a boss of a company, you want to build your customer base or just add additional business that you may not have had before, some new avenues to build a community, hit me up with an email, gmstackers@gmail.com. And of course, the show is brought to you by Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, and Wealthstack, wealthstack.com. Is the USD the place to be currently, right now, in the very short term, while we're in this little bit of sort of indecision kind of time? Okay, there's a couple of cases to be made for both. Now, let me give you the short answer. I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer for you, but at least it's a good idea to at least ask the question. If you haven't even been thinking about it, it's like, oh, okay, well, should I just be parked in US dollars, specifically US dollars? Now, you could be living in Australia, you could be somewhere else in the world, you've got your own foreign currency. It's like, maybe it's the USD the place to be just for the moment. We'll see if we can answer that question on both sides of the story. And let's share the screen first. I guess the first thing I'll show you, and I'll get to the shout outs and all that stuff after we talk about this topic. Okay, I want to get straight into it. This is the DXY, it's the US dollar currency index. Okay, it's on the monthly time frame. And we'll just sort of do a quick bit of analysis of that. We are at an interesting point. It does look like it is continuing on the way up. That means the US dollar dominance is continuing. That's why we've been seeing the weakening against other foreign currencies. So if you're living in Australia, you're seeing the Australian dollar weaken against the USD, the Canadian dollar, everything else is just weakening against the USD currently. Now, will this trend continue forever? No, there will be a point where it turns around. The question is, are we there yet? So let's look at the US dollar currency index on, again, a monthly time frame. You can see very clearly there's a big downtrend line that was broken out of. It has tested it as support, had a second test of resistance, possible, and then a beautiful move back up. So look, the trend is currently up. Again, doesn't mean that trend lasts forever. Just in the last couple of months, you can see we have broken back up. If we're doing some sort of, this is again on the monthly time frame, if I was to do some quick fib right here, again, as this is going up, it's the US dollar is strengthening. Okay, so that's why it might be better to be in USD for a certain period of time. You never know. Right here, I would say, look, we're currently over the 0.618 area. We're not yet above my personal magical Fibonacci number, which is the 0.786. That's usually the final hurdle for me to confirm, a new all-time high in something, whatever that something is most likely to come. Okay, because what you can find a lot of the time is you have a breakdown and then a move back up, and then it gets above the 0.618. People get a little bit ahead of themselves and they go, it's above the 0.618. Onwards and upwards we go. But then it fakes you out around here before the 786, and then it ticks over. Okay, and then potentially, much lower. Right, so that's why again, this is the monthly time frame, very long-term time frame here. I would at least need to see, and for confidence to say it might be better to be in USD at the moment, Absolute confidence for me would be if we break above there, and that's for me, that's at the 111 mark. Break above there and do that, and then that's basically confirmation. You start closing months above here, and then I'd say, yeah, USD would look very likely to continue its strength against other currencies. Now, we're not there yet, okay, so that's why I'm just floating the idea. Is it a good idea to be in USD just in the short term? We'll look at some other assets and try and make the case for both sides. So that's what I'd be looking at with DXY. Trending up, but not over the major hurdle yet. I've got that sort of 111 mark. So I might even pop that in for you. For you and for me, let's pop it in right there. Okay, so call it 111. 111, final hurdle for higher. Cool? Makes sense? Good. That's just me, right? You do you listen to other people, and that is good. So I will be watching that closely. If you want to stay updated on that, hit the big red subscribe button on YouTube, or hit the follow button on X, because I'm going live out on both right now. So it is trending up. I'll show you the quarterly time frame. Okay, so each of these candles is a 3-month time frame. Are there any other levels that I would want to look out for, sort of more major Fibonacci levels right here to suggest where USD dominance may or may not be going? If I take it from the high and the low, look, at the moment, we're not even above the 50 mark. Again, this is on the very, very long term. I mean, this is going all the way back to the 80s. Okay, so it is trending up, but you have a little bit of ways to go. I do like, if I was wanting the US dollar to continue to strengthen, I would be liking the fact that it broke out here. That was back in 2015, had that retest, and that's looking pretty good. For longer term dominance, though, I would need to see it at least close above the 0.5, and that's at around about 117. So if we do start closing months above 111, you could look for a move to about 117 on the DXY. Cool. But I won't pop in that. So that's the DXY currently moving upwards. USD is quite favored at the moment. But does that mean you should be in USD? Now, there's sort of two main aspects to it. I'm going to take a look at live gold, silver prices, etc. I'll go back to here. We'll have the quick discussion on that. So there's two main, and great to see so many people watching. There is two main cases for it. One is the instability currently in the market. We don't know what's going. We're kind of like in no man's land, and it seems to be. And I'm talking very short term here. I'm talking, before the inauguration. So we're talking maybe just the next week or so, the next 7 days. There's a lot of people thinking a little bit of indecision. You can see that with the gold prices, Bitcoin prices, etc. So there is a case to be made that parking in USD just for the moment, specifically against USD against other foreign currencies, might be a good idea, because people are seeing that strengthening of the DXY, of the US dollar currency, just for the moment until key events have happened. So particularly on January 20th, January 2021, January 20th specifically is when the inauguration is, but around that kind of time. And then is that, some people believe that's the go time for Bitcoin, for example. Other people believe that's, it might be like a sell on the news event, the rumor and then sell on the news. And I'll get to all your comments and all your shout outs in just a second. So that's sort of the main thing, the indecision, and being in USD specifically, because again, the DXY is increasing at the moment, is the best place to be just for now, while the indecision is there and they're waiting for, confirmation of certain levels to be hit or to be broken. So support to be broken, or, that to be hit. So that's sort of the main side of it, this sort of indecision. The opposite end, here's the opposite end, the case to be made not to be in USD. And there were sort of two parts to that. Number one is the people who are just absolutely confident that lows are in for their particular asset. For gold, for Bitcoin, for a particular crypto, for a particular stock, for the SPX, for example, the S&P 500. Obviously, those people are going to be very confident, and they're going to be the ones that jump on and comment on here and say, "You're nuts. Bitcoin just found support at $90,000. It's only onwards and upwards from here. Okay, so why would you want to be in the USD? Of course, you would want to be in your favorite asset. Okay, so that's number one. That's the other case, not to be in USD. And then there's the main one, not to be in USD or mainly in USD, which is what really stackers are all about, which is DCA, dollar cost averaging, DCA being the way, which is what a lot of us stackers do recommend. Dollar cost averaging, if you're not familiar with what that is, you just buying your favorite assets on the regular, regardless of what the price is. So you just pick a specific once a month or on the same day that you get your paycheck, you just pop a little bit in gold, a little bit in Bitcoin, a little bit of whatever it is. You don't worry about the price. You're not trying to time the market. So that would be the other main good case for not being in USD right now, not waiting for confirmation of prices, not waiting for the short-term no man's land that we're in at the moment, because it's just, nice and breezy and easy. DCA, baby, DCA is the way. So I completely understand both sides of it. And honestly, I don't know where I sit. Now, of course, dollar cost averaging is the best way to go in my humble opinion. There are times I just dollar cost average certain amounts, but for certain people out there, you might be doing both things. You might be dollar cost averaging a certain point, and then you're just keeping a little bit of dry powder back to see which way it goes. You're waiting for confirmation. So let's take a look. We'll do some shout outs now. I knew you'd say that. We'll take a look at, I'll get to your comments in just a second. I just want to continue talking about this DCA thing. So those are the main two things, about the US dollar dominance. I also want to take a look, and I'll quickly show you now, foreign currencies. Okay, so I'm going to go through a whole list of things and sort of still give you those cases for, USD, staying in USD or not staying in USD. So kind of a bit of a all over general USD thing at the moment, basing it on taking a look at the assets as well. So I actually want to show you, I'm going to show you USD against foreign currencies right now. Let's see, I'll go back to sharing the screen. I will get to your comments eventually, my wonderful GMS people, but I just want to do this a little bit differently today. So for example, we just showed you, so again, this is the US dollar index, all right? Again, on the 3 monthly time frame, quarterly time frame, each candle right here is 3 months worth of time. Okay, again, it goes all the way back to, it goes back to the 60s, man. So I'm going to have to probably, I'll show you the AUD since we're in here. I'll show you the Canadian dollar as well. So as this is going up, you can see that the Australian dollar or your other foreign currencies, I could probably look a whole bunch of them, are going down. But some people might believe that we're getting to a low point potentially. Let's have a look. So again, this is the quarterly time frame. Each candle is 3 months. This is the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. So you can see very clearly as the USD is going up, the Australian dollar has been tanking against the USD. So that would be if you were only a foreign currency trader, just a Forex trader, for example, it would be much better to be in the USD versus your foreign currency. Let's say you're an Australian trader of the Forex, you would have been much better to be in the US dollars, versus the Australian dollar in the last few months, at least since the sort of start of October of last year, roughly. It has been tanking, okay? Are we coming to an inflection point where we're getting a little oversold or undervalued on the Australian dollar? And this would probably be very true for most other currencies at the same time. So let me show you again, this is the quarterly time frame. Okay, yeah, you can see we have come down and broken that low right there of that 61.8 US cents. We've come down to about 61.3 US cents. We're not back down to where I think we might possibly find a support level. Very key support here at it's 60 cents even, right? This is 60 cents hit in 2008. There was a spike down in 2020. In that first quarter of 2020, what was going on then, we all know. And then we had that big spike above, so we closed above that 60 cent level. Then we had another spike down to 60 cents, but it did close above. And that successful close above previous support right there did set that up for that big move. But we're down around there right now. So that's the quarterly time frame. If you have a look at the relative strength index, we are sort of in a no man's land. Really, again, this is very much no man's land right now. I'll show you the monthly time frame. monthly time frame on the relative strength index again versus AUD, but this is probably very comparable to any other foreign currency that, wherever you are in the world. You can see right now, yeah, look, it's trending down, okay, but we've just been in this big range right here. Let me show you again, this is on the relative strength index, sort of a ranging between here and here, and we haven't broken there. So you could certainly tick around from here, sure. Let me show you on the weekly. Here's where it starts to get interesting, and here's where the case to be made for not being in the US dollars, for being back into your own foreign currency. That's if you're choosing just to be in fiat versus fiat, not fiat versus an asset like gold or Bitcoin or silver or whatever. We're just talking fiat versus fiat. This is where it gets interesting, where many people might say, oh, look, on the weekly time frame, forget about the monthly, etc. Yeah, we might be trending down on the monthly, but, we're just in a sort of a major range here. If you take a look on the weekly, though, however, we have gone into extremely undervalued already, and it potentially might be ticking over. Okay, now some people would go, look, I'm an extremely undervalued area. Look, it could certainly go down further, but this is the best risk to reward for me for getting out of USD. So again, this is the case to not be in the USD and to get back into your particular foreign currency. Okay, they might say, look, it's been in extremely undervalued. You don't spend a lot of time in extremely undervalued. I'm happy to do the turnaround here, and I think it will eventually, I might have a little bit more of a dip, but I'm happy to start going back into my own foreign currency at around about this point. I can see the case to be made for that, particularly on the weekly time frame. If I take a look on the daily time frame, what you'll also notice, extremely undervalued, had that move back up. Extremely undervalued, move back up. Then a long move down, and then you've been in extremely undervalued for quite some time on the daily, and it looks like it might be just ticking back up out of that range, or back into the normal range right now. So there is a case to be made, and that's why I've said to you at the very start, I don't know the answer. I'm just floating the question in case you'd never even thought about, should I even consider being in US dollars specifically right now? Okay, so there is a case to be made that it is starting a potential turnaround, maybe a bit more of a dip, but a potential turnaround versus foreign currencies at the moment. That would mean it would be better to sell your USD and go back into your current foreign currency or whatever one you're in, or potentially. And now let's look at. So that's the case to be made to go back into your foreign currency and get out of the USD. Okay. So I don't have a definitive answer for you. Got to ask the question though. Let's take a look at, and I'll give you an example. See what you've been seeing here. That's why you've been seeing, say, gold, for example, in foreign currencies, not the USD, making new all-time highs. Gold just made a new all-time high in Australian dollars, nearly $4,400. Okay, now because we're seeing this potential turnaround, and it's just a potential. Again, the US dollar weakening as this is going up, the Australian dollar and foreign currencies strengthening. That's why you might be seeing, this is why you are seeing it have a bit of a dump as well. Now, gold in USD is going down too. We'll take a look at that in just a second. And again, I'll go to the other side of it. Actually, no, I'll get your opinions on this now. So that's kind of the main part of the topic today. Is the USD the place to be? I kind of gave you the answer, which is I don't know, and neither do you, but there are the two cases to be made. So yes, there is a case to be made for the current instability and what's going on before the inauguration on January the 20th. Major assets like gold, major assets like Bitcoin, even stocks, etc., aren't necessarily within absolute confirmation of definitely heading down from here or definitely heading up from here. So there's those two main factors, the geopolitical and the current instability in the price, not over sort of major support and resistance levels. So that's the case to be made to just stick in USD for the moment and just see where the world goes in, could be as quickly as the next 7 days. Okay, you'll probably know within, I'd say, January 20th, January 21st, after the inauguration, the direction. But then, even that with those specific assets, you need to get over certain assets, certain prices. So we'll take a look at those in just a second. But let's do some shout outs. So that's the short answer for, is USD the place to be? There's a case to be made for both, and those are the two cases. Get it? Got it? Good. Good morning, everyone. Get to the shout-outs. Jason Rosana. Good morning, fam. GMS Tony Peterson is back. Great to see you. Hi, Mark. GM Jason. GMS Mark Florida. Great to see you. Morning, Joe, says Jason Ashworth. Morning, Jason. Good to see you. Synchronised Slurp is where it is at. Research, Debt Jubilee. Research the Nasara Jasara. Yeah, as I said yesterday, Tony, I have had people talk to me about Nasara Jasara. Give me 1 second. I want to let a little bit more light into the subject if this doesn't fall down on me. There we go. People have told me about Nasara Jasara, that whole thing, and Debt Jubilee and all that stuff a number of years ago. I don't know if I believe it. So I've researched it pretty well. Yeah, could be. But I call that an outlier. And, you know, that's like a 20%, 10%, 20% chance. Probably more like a 10% chance. Good evening, y'all, says Space Miner. Great to see you. Yeah, 1 USD is 61.84. Great. Now, here we go on the USD thing. If US dollar goes down, mega stocks earn less US dollars from currency conversion effect of rising foreign currencies. Yep, fair point. You noticed. Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. Yeah, really desperately needed. Nice haircut, Joe. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. My favorite asset is silver. My favorite asset, to be honest, I love silver, and I've been a silver stacker since 2010. I've got to be honest though. My favorite asset is the one that's doing me the best. Because what am I doing it for? Am I married to my silver bags? No. As you know, I've been moving a portion of my silver into crypto recently to try and play the crypto run. Now, if that works out, fantastic. I will actually be putting, now I guess you could say, precious metals. I can't say that. Let me go. My favorite asset is the one that is going up at the time, whether that be in, over a longer period of time. Now, that is precious metals currently. Okay, so I am playing the crypto market at the moment to increase my precious metal stack, but then there'll come a point where precious metals will be highly overvalued versus things such as the stock market, the S&P 500, or your favorite stocks, Tesla, which is something I'll probably look at getting in a big way at some point later on down the track. It just all depends on, when precious metals look very overvalued versus Tesla or the stock market. But come, 5 years' time, or possibly less than that, there will become a point where silver and precious metals will not be my favorite asset anymore. It'll be the ones that are building my generational wealth. Okay? It just means I was very much silver's my favorite asset. My favorite asset, silver, precious metals, gold, all that when I started stacking, because you're just starting to get into it. I was investing for the first time, learned about precious metals, how money is created, and all that stuff. Went all the way down the rabbit hole about how the world works and all the way back up again. Went through the 5 stages of acceptance, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, finally acceptance of how the world works. And you just got to do you, and you can't wake people up any more than that. All that kind of stuff, which we've talked about before. And I was a huge silver bug. Decided to work in the precious metals industry because I really wanted to get into that industry. Had to volunteer, no jobs going. I hounded people, got in, volunteered, became first employees at 2 different bullion dealers and all that kind of stuff, right? But now, I've just got to be more open to it. It's like, well, is silver the best way to be? Silver and gold the best asset to be in? At this very short term, I don't know. It could be crypto just for the moment, playing that at the moment. Let's see what happens. I could be wrong. Crypto could just be totally going down in relation to silver, and then I'll do my swap back over. Do I break even? Do I lose a little bit? That's okay. But I'll go with the one that has the clear advantage. And there's no clear advantage, at least I would say in the next 6 months. In the next 6 months, there's no clear advantage of one versus the other if we're talking crypto versus precious metals. Okay, there's no clear advantage just yet. I'm going to go with the one that has the clearest advantage. That was a long rant, wasn't it? Only silver eggs in my basket. I'm happy with that, and that is excellent, and I love it because that's probably a winning strategy. Let's see. If you like dollar cost average, the same effect can be performed in diversity purchases. Right, yeah, pick 10 stocks, 10 cryptos, 10 metals, 10 currencies. 10 metals? Is there 10 metals to choose from? I hear what you're saying. Yeah, so diversity. Yeah, okay. Of course, diversification is good. Personally, I find 10 of each of those, and I don't know how you do 10 metals, but 10 of each of those is really spreading for me personally, spreading the brain too thin, where I've got to look at this, that, and that. Now, if you were saying S&P 500, an index of the stocks, and one index of the stocks, one index of crypto, one index of metals, and one index of currencies. I guess, can you do that? A basket of index? I don't know if that works. Then sure, then you're only monitoring maybe 4 or 5 things rather than like 50 things there. So I personally, for my brain, I've just got to like squeeze it down. And I preferably, in this next little period of time, at around about a week's time, I'm actually probably going to be consolidating my assets a little bit more, because I'm just watching too many things. I'm in too many things, and I've just got to consolidate down that to maybe 3, 4, 5 like tops, right? Investment averaging. That's an interesting way to call it. Tony Pearson, I would love to see a Golden Goose series, though, both coins and little golden eggs. Surely there has to be a Golden Goose series. Surely someone's done that. Tony, I think golden eggs with little silver nests would probably sell. That's pretty cool. Neil is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully one day soon I will have a silver pizza. Wait for it. Pieces of 8. Yes, I get it. Fantastic. Trump says he's going to enact it. What, a debt jubilee? No, he didn't say that at all. Nope, he didn't. He did not. Now, I bet you on it, Joe. Of course you do. And you'll probably win, like you won the last bet while you're doing the winky face, young lady. Tony bet me that silver in Australian dollars would hit 48 Australian dollars by October last year. And I was like, back before October, I was like, maybe, but I'm going to take the other bet. I'm going to take the other side, and totally won. It was like within like a couple of weeks it hit. And yeah, she won that bet. But you say that you said that Trump says he's going to enact it. If that is the case, I need to see that quote, because I will do a massive story on that if that's the case. Okay, so can you send me the link to that where he actually said it? That would be good. First, Neil says, first 1 hour of the new administration in the US will shake the world. That is potential, yes. And that's why I think there's just this little bit of indecision. Not a little bit, there's a lot of bit of indecision. A lot of indecision at the moment. So those are those cases to be made. Like, do you just park your stuff in US dollars for the moment and just wait to see Bitcoin go over certain amounts, or gold and silver go down below certain amounts? You buy gold, or you buy confirmation of crypto heading up over a certain level. We're going to take a look at all of those assets in just about 1 minute after these comments. We'll take a look at those levels, what they might be. Then you have recession. Oh, okay. So Neil thinks first hour of the new admin will shake the world. Then you will have recession. Yeah, I mean, clearly the powers that do not like the Trump administration, they would want to plunge the world into a recession ASAP. Straight after Trump, to go, look, Trump's in now, and first day, everything tanks, right? But if you are, for example, and this is another case to be made, to be in US dollars. And that was one of the big ones. The other case to be made is a potential recession coming along the way. And it's pretty much guaranteed at this stage, I would say, particularly around the Trump inauguration time. You just got to see, holding a bit in US dollars specifically, not a bad idea. But, you do you. You do you. I love Jason. I love you so much. His cult will still love him. So Jason is our token lefty here. We might have some other left-leaning people watching. And I love my left-leaning people because freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff. But come on, man. The cult? Like versus what? Compared to what? Cult? Compared to what? The cult of DEI? The cult of the wokeness, okay? That's a cult too. You can call anything a cult, all right? Calling something a cult doesn't make it so, okay? So, yeah, Jason. Yes, there are more than 10 metals, not just all precious. Yes, of course. There's a bunch of different things, yes, but we're talking about, the precious metals. Not literally 10. Okay. Nickel, certain types of aluminium. Yeah, I ain't getting into any of those. Nasara Chisara, Trump is going to enact. I'll send you proof, Joe. Please do. It needs to be proof, but you just said Trump says he will, and that's, I think what you're, and I as much as I love you, Tony, I think you're going to send me something, and I'm going to read it and go, yeah, he didn't say that. Like there could be an interpretation of he might be alluding to something that is similar to that and all that, and then it's more like when you put this piece together and this puzzle piece and these random things, but when you put them all together, it says that he's going to do that. Then we're in, no one really knows territory. But I would love to see the proof, please, particularly if you said something very specifically, okay, that doesn't allude. It's not a dog whistle. It's not okay, I need proof. In reality, more people stack aluminium in the form of cans for recycling. Yeah, my son does that at the moment. We just took to the local thing and he got like $3.30, and he went to Woolworths and bought a few lollies. He's like, this is the best thing in the world. Let's see. They're getting into. All right, my tea is a cult of happiness. My tea is a cult of happiness. It's a bill joke. Please send me that bill. If it's going to get enacted, I would love to see that bill or the proposal and what it means. Fantastic. And I will do a massive story on it if that is the case. People? No, 1 second. We're going to get to live gold, silver, platinum analysis and Bitcoin. We're going to look at those levels that we need to look at, for the case to be made not to be in USD right now or to be in USD. But of course, buy from Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, my preferred physical bullion dealer. I've worked for 3 major bullion dealers. I work with Perth Bullion Exchange. They are a sponsor of the show, and I have been teaching them the skills of creating consistently engaging YouTube and other social media content. It's been doing great guns from them. They've been utilizing the knowledge that I've been teaching them. Ricky over there has been making amazing videos on his YouTube channel. YouTube, right here. I'll show you right here. No, let me go back. That's not what I want. Let me show you their YouTube channel very quickly. Right here, my funky people. Look at their YouTube channel. Just doing absolute great guns. So please give them a subscribe. 825 subscribers. A bunch of new subscribers just in the last number of days because they are doing amazing unboxings. Some would call them epic, although we won't call them epic. Unboxings, if you know, that reference. So they've been doing a bunch of unboxings. So unboxing videos, like for a channel for only 825 subscribers to have more views than the number of subscribers they have, that's doing really good for a starting off channel. So to have 825 subscribers and 973 views, 373, 560, 1.2 thousand views for only a subscriber base of 825, that says that the algorithm's picking it up. Okay, so they're doing all the right things, creating consistently engaging content. So it's all about engaging in content, doing it consistently. Okay, they're doing their weekly specials. They do store updates. They talk about specific topics, right? The problem I see with platinum, or all this other stuff, right? Hit them up with a subscribe and get in contact with me if you'd like to learn the skills of doing it yourself for your business, any type of business. Anyway, damn, that was a plug for me. Perth Bullion Exchange. Buy from perthbullion.com.au. Give you free shipping when you buy over certain amounts. Great pricing, great stuff, great everything. That's it. And Wealthstack, wealthstack.com. Send this to your normie friends and family. It is a phone app. Download it for Android or iPhone. You're buying gold at spot plus 1%. It's an unallocated gold program. So you don't get to hold the physical metal in your home, in your hands, etc. It's held in storage for you on your behalf, but you do have full ownership of it. It is under your name, but you're going to a pool of metal with other Wealthstack account members, okay? Therefore, there's no storage fees. There's no transfer fees. Spot plus 1% to buy gold, no matter whether you're buying $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, or $10 of gold. They won't jack up the premiums when you're buying in smaller amounts, okay? Because it's an unallocated gold program. Silver is coming, a debit card is coming, physical redemptions are coming. They're just not on board yet. It's a fairly newish kind of company. They reached out to me. They're Australian owned, Australian operated, Australian regulated, which is most important. Okay, back to one-to-one with real physical metal, as I said. And they reached out to me to get the trust of the stacking community because they know that some of you will be really interested in Wealthstack specifically as a stacker. To diversify your risk, okay? Maybe you don't want to hold all the physical in your own home. You want to diversify your holding of physical and holding it in Wealthstack. Wealthstack.com might be a good idea for you, but if you don't like it, that's okay. You tell your friends and family about it, who you've been trying to wake up and get into precious metals. Consider it the gateway drug to get them into the stacking community, okay? You say, look, guys, I know you think I'm a crazy collector. You don't want to do it. Look, just go to wealthstack.com or download it for Android or iPhone. Just sign up with your ID and just buy gold that way. Like just dollar cost average in $10 a week, $10 a day, every paycheck, and it's really cheap and easy way to do it. So that's Wealthstack, wealthstack.com. Okay, let's talk gold, precious metals, and crypto, etc. Cool. Let's do precious metals analysis. We'll take a look at gold live. We'll take a look at silver. We'll take a look at platinum. And we'll sort of tie this towards the US dollar thing. Is USD the place to be at the moment as well? So here is gold in US dollars, funnily enough, 2,664 US dollars. Yesterday's video was entitled, "Is it gold and silver's week?" ? So it's always a question mark, right? And I never give you definitive answers. Basically ever. Okay, I give you if this, then that. So what was looking good and what was looking positive, but what I did say could turn around. I literally said yesterday, in the next 24 hours, we could just see that completely turn around. And we have so far. Okay, so yesterday we were above these three major trend lines. This uptrend line, the mother of all trend lines, this flatter one that goes all the way back to 1980. Okay, that's the mother of all trend lines. I won't show you in the macro. And this downtrend line, I said it needs to at least get above all of these three, and particularly this one, in order for me to be confident that while it's holding above, gold looks like it might be, going higher. Okay, let's see. I need to pop in that one, that horizontal line. Is that the one? No, give me 1 second. No, you son of a bee. 26, yeah, and that one, and there we go. Cool. So we are back below. So even up in here, while we're above here, I was like, maybe 60% sure, 70% sure that we see lower prices from here. Maybe it's just, I upped it to like a 20, 30% chance that we see higher prices. Okay, but now that we're back below, I should have just stuck with it. I'm still 80% sure at this stage that we see lower prices from here. Okay, I still think we see lower prices below 2,538. That could be down around about your 2,500 to 2,450 level right here. I've got a rectangle that I normally have in. There you go, right there. I think lower prices are still coming, but I could be wrong. But look, here's, I guess, the short positives. Look, we did have a test at least of this uptrend line. It did hold for a day, but then it failed to hold. We haven't crashed back below every single downtrend line just yet. Where did we find support at? Gee, what do you know? Bang on the mother of all trend lines. It goes all the way back to 1980. Okay, so trend line analysis is a thing. It does exist. Right now, we're just sort of in this rough no man's land area. It needs to start closing back above this downtrend line. So let's call it 2680. That's a number we've been talking about recently. It needs to close above 2680, at least on a weekly time frame, preferably a monthly time frame, in order to say, yeah, onwards and upwards from here. And as you know, my final hurdle for new all-time highs, 2,735. You start closing weeks or months, and I won't call it days, because days you can just have a quick turnaround, a very quick turnaround. Okay, it can tease you and then head back down. So I've got to see a close on a weekly time frame, or preferably a monthly time frame, at or above, and preferably above 2,735. That's my personal final hurdle for new all-time highs in gold, coming like imminently in days and weeks, not months and months and months. Cool. Nowhere near there at the moment. Currently above the mother of all trend lines. I'm expecting that to not find support. Could be wrong. 80% sure that we see some lower prices. Okay. Obviously, as this gets lower and lower, I will be more confident of that. Brush tool. If you start doing this, that, and that, then I'm basically saying, oh yeah, man, we're probably heading down to at least $2,500. Okay. We're not there yet. Okay. So this is where this indecision is at the moment. And might it be better to be in US dollars? Now, let me be very clear what I mean by that. Does that mean, is it better to sell out of your current assets to get back into USD? No. What I'm saying is if you have some spare dry powder, or if you're getting into the market for the first time, if you're like me back in 2010, I had a spare $5,000 to spend. I was like, what the hell do I get into? Now, I found precious metals, okay? You might be in that journey right now. You might have never invested in anything and you've got some spare cash, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, I don't know, and you're unsure, okay? That's why potentially just holding back and just waiting for some absolute confirmations of, yeah, it's definitely going in this direction, or you're confident, or oh, no, it looks like we're going lower. That might be the way to go. Other people would say, look, dollar cost average anyway. Just buy here. If it goes down, buy some more. If it goes down, buy some more. Buy on the regular. Okay. So that's where we are. I'm going to say like 80% sure we still see lower prices in gold down to at least 2,500. And watch out for, not as large of a chance. I've been calling it sort of 60%, 50-50, sort of 60-40 at the moment that we see the best buy zone. The BB, the best buy zone, where are we? 28.75. No. I can't see a damn thing in this light. Where's my best buy zone? There we go, right there. Of 22.50 to 21.50, 2,250 to 2,150. That's a longer shot at the moment, but a test of 2,500 to 24.50, yeah, that's quite doable, and I think it's an 80% chance at this stage. That is gold. Faked us out here. Thanks, gold. Very much. And again, don't sell out of what you've got. Dollar cost average is the best way to go. Silver. Like I posted on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia forum this morning before the show, with a link to the show, to the live stream, back below the line in the sand of $29.80. Does that mean anything major? No, look, just while we're below it, and while we're below this downtrend line, and while we're below specifically 31 US dollars, I have remained for a long time now 80% sure. Even when we were in here, even when we came up to here, I'm like, no, I'm still 80% sure we see lower prices. And then we did see lower prices, okay? We're back up here. I've still remained, no, 80% sure we see lower prices. So far, that's playing out. I could be wrong. This could be faked out right now. You don't know. I don't know. No one knows exactly. But you could do that. Absolutely could. I need to see that close. Hold and close above 31 US dollars, then we'll talk Turkey. Okay, then we'll talk $32.50 final hurdle for new highs coming soon. Then we'll talk even higher prices from there. We're nowhere near that at the moment. We're back below $29.80. So for the moment, I remain 80% sure that we see, and ignore the pattern, okay, of how it gets down. But I remain 80% sure that we see at least the top end of the best buy zone hit of 28 US dollars, anywhere from 28 down to 26 US dollars, with some stops along the way, but that's the best buy zone. For me personally, I still think we see that. Could absolutely turn around and just kick up from here, okay? But I will remain with that while we're below the $31 mark. Cool. That is silver. Platinum. Yep. Okay, failure to hold the mother of all trend lines, which goes all the way back to 2008. Okay, there's your long-term downtrend line. Once again, it has failed so far, and it could just be a little blip along the way. Okay, but on the daily time frame, sorry, it's getting a little bit annoying with all that stuff there. So far, well, we had that move back above the trend line, back above the mother of all trend lines for platinum. Failure to hold, faster move to the downside. If this does not hold, then we're heading back down, people, okay? If this uptrend line doesn't hold, that's what you'd want to see. That's what you really want to see. That's very positive for platinum, okay? This is less so, doing something like that. Not good, okay? The more likely then that's a setup for, something, a potential down to there. If you head back down again, then belly of the best buy zone would be coming for platinum, anywhere down between $900 to $750 with a bias to a couple of support levels at $870 or $840, okay? I don't think we get all the way down to $750, but it's the belly. It's the sort of best buy zone area. Dollar cost averaging in here, loading up more than you normally would. Maybe a dollar cost averaging in platinum all the way through here, but then it gets into the best buy zone. Like, I'm going to allocate a little bit more of my paycheck. Okay, do dollar cost average. Make sense? Good. We're not heading down there just yet. Okay, but we're not out of the woods. Again, it's just a big no man's land at the moment for pretty much all assets until the inauguration happens. I think that's going to be the case. Let's see. That is precious metals side of things. Gold to silver ratio is currently still climbing. Okay, ups and downs, but it is sort of larger trend is moving upwards. Look at the gold's final hurdle, 93.5. If you start cracking above 93.5, then it's going to continue for a while. That means gold's outperforming silver for a decent period. Okay, look for resistance though at around about 93.5, 93.4. Cool, around about there, because it's a previous major area of resistance somewhere back here, and I don't want to show you where it was. It's probably a Fibonacci level. Cool, that's the gold to silver ratio currently in gold's favor. Cool. Let's do Bitcoin and crypto. Oh my goodness, what a last 24 hours we have had. Cool. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and crypto. What a crazy 24 hours we have had. What have we been talking about recently? A lot of people were talking about this $90,000 area, okay? Where, we've had this move up to 108,000, new all-time high in Bitcoin. It's currently at 94,358 US dollars. Okay, we had this downtrend line and we had this major uptrend line. The uptrend line goes all the way back to, I'll get rid of the relative strength index for the moment, goes all the way back to the previous cycle where you had the high of 65,000, then the higher high of 69,000, and that was the top for the cycle in quarter four of 2021. That had acted as a major trend line, and you can see very clearly go to the weekly time frame, it acted as a major area of support. Definitely on the daily time frame, acted as a major area of support. This trend line right there, been flirting with it, a couple of spikes down, and then a lot of people were talking about this $90,000 area specifically. I see a lot of people on X, a few people, and then other people I follow on YouTube say, watch out for this 90,000 area. It might be an area that we spiked down to and close back up again. Well, we have actually done that. If you look at some other crypto, look at Doge, for example, a little spike. Now, am I saying this is the turnaround? Absolutely not. We don't know yet. Okay, that's why there is an argument. This is why there's the argument on both sides to just be in US dollars for the moment, to be in fiat currency, to see what the message of the market is going to do. Hey, for Bitcoin, let me go to Bitcoin, back to Bitcoin on the, is that going to work for me? That's the index price. Let me go back to the Bitstamp price. I like that one. There's a case to be made. Some people will be saying right now, and they will be exclaiming very loudly, ha ha, suckers, you thought it was going down lower. The low is in, you total suckers. Have fun staying poor, people, because we've closed the day, and we probably will likely. I mean, you've got another 30-something minutes to close the day above the major uptrend line. Sucked in, people. It's just onwards and upwards from here. Yep, could be right. There is no confirmation of that. Some people would call that the confirmation. I wouldn't. Okay, so I still think we're in a bit of a no man's land area. I'll pop on the relative strength index, because look at the relative strength index on the daily time frame. We've been extremely overvalued here. This was a bearish divergence. Okay, fiat dollar price going up, relative strength index going down. It then did tick over. Okay. So then you had that move down. Cool, and now we're in that downtrend, and it is still trending down technically. Okay, could this be the turnaround? Yeah, okay, haha, suckers, and then it's just onwards and upwards from here? Yeah, sure. Of course it can, but there's no 100% confirmation. It's good to see it back above in that area. Great. We're not out of the woods just yet for Bitcoin. Now, could I be absolutely wrong? Absolutely. On the weekly time frame, here's the weekly time frame. Okay, that's good to see. Great. On the weekly time frame, you are still trending down. We have been extremely overvalued on the weekly time frame on Bitcoin, and we are trending down. Yes, could this tick around from here and go hog wild into that area? Of course it could. But we're not over the certain areas. And what are obviously the major areas that we need to break out of? It's this downtrend line. Very easily, you got to see something like this, break out of there, test the support, do that, and then great, looking fantastic. We are not even out of this downtrend line. So no, not out of the woods whatsoever. And you would call it still that $102,000 mark, should you call it at least? Let me do some Fibonacci between this high and this low. It's that same area right here. I need to see it close and hold above around about 104 for me, $104,000. Again, that's the 0.786 level. Some people will be saying the 0.618 at the $100,000 psychological value. That's probably more likely. Okay, so here it got to 102, but it was only on the daily time frame, right? It didn't close the week above it. Here, I'll show you on the weekly on Bitcoin when it wants to get its bum into gear. Hopefully I'm not buffering right now. See, on the weekly time frame, we had that spike to 102,000, but it closed below 100,000 US dollars. It was a large vertical spike, a large spike going in the upward direction. We don't like those because it says sellers are in control of the market. Okay, so definitely you would call it the $100,000 mark is the psychological value. It needs to close and hold above. You can see there, right there, $100,000. That was a psychological value right there. Okay, cool. Must close above 100K. Cool, easy. Must close above for confidence. Easy. That is so easy to see. Cool. Plain as the nose on your face. You start closing above there. Now that coincide roughly with this downtrend line. Great. Again, if you do that breakout, hold on the weekly time frame, bare minimum on the weekly. Okay, don't look at dailies, look at weeklies at least. You hold 100K on the weekly, that's looking very good. Okay, that's why some people would prefer to be in USD at the moment. Okay, some people, particularly if you're in America and you just don't know which way it's going, you want to stay in fiat dollar currency. That's fine. Some people, again, in Australia, in other foreign currencies, still want to be in USD as well, like specifically in USD, because they feel like their currency is still going to weaken against the USD. So there's holding in USD. A lot of people are waiting for confirmation, and that's the 100K confirmation. All right, what would be a confirmation of? Breaking back down lower, obviously, anywhere back down and holding below, I would say on a weekly time frame, below that $91,000 mark, right about there. If you start closing, if this is a turnaround, sort of a fake out and a turnaround, particularly I would say if you start closing weeks below this uptrend line right here, and particularly below here, you start closing weeks, then that's like down we go further, and that will be looking at your mid 80s in Bitcoin, anywhere down to the previous breakout area. Let me get rid of the RSI. Previous breakout area of that $74,000 area. I do have $67,000 as uber max pain. That's where it could fake out a lot of people. It scares the ever-loving shit out of people. They go, oh my God, crap, it's broken. This area, it's just, we're done. It's over. It's all over. And then it gives you a quick scam wick down and goes like that, and people suck it up. That's really quite possible. Okay, watch out for 67,000. Although just be cautious around this area. Okay, it doesn't mean you'd be wanting to be putting all your USD or all your fiat dollar currency back into there, because that could signal. You could certainly do that, and then resistance, and then that's really, really, really bad news. Okay, for Bitcoin. Okay, and very bad news for general crypto. Cool. But look, so far so good. We're above that area. We're not out of the woods yet. Got to confirm at least over 100K. Cool. So that's why many people want to just sit and wait. Okay, wait till the Trump inauguration. Hopefully it's successful, in my opinion. Okay, and you've got your day traders who will be trading this chop. Don't trade the chop. Bad idea, okay, because this is where you can really lose a lot of money by just trying to play the intraday or the weekly or whatever. Just, dollar cost average is your best way to go, or just park it in your USD or your own foreign currency and wait for confirmations. Again, confirmation for me is closing a week above 100K and confirmation of lower prices coming. So just to hold back in your fiat dollar currency is closing weekly below around about that $91,000 US mark. That is me. Let's take a look at others. So others is altcoins, everything other than the top 10 coins. So look, on the daily, you had that big spike down to $300 billion market cap. What are we not above currently? We're not above the two major confluences, this downtrend line. Losing my voice. The downtrend line needs to be cleared and held above on the weekly time frame, bare minimum, okay? And we're not above the 0.618 from this high and get rid of it, of this high and this low, okay? So we're not even above that area yet. Hey, we could close above it, sure, but we're not above it. There's no confirmation yet. So not out of the woods. Lower prices potentially coming for altcoins could be. Watch out for the line in the sand of 230 billion. You don't want it. You probably find some decent support there. If you don't find support there, that's really bad news. Okay, then you're talking and probably over for the cycle. It could signal that the cycle peak is done in 2025. Q1 of 2025, peak done, right? Potentially. Actually, no, and this was in December. Okay, so that was the high in December. I don't think that's the case. I think we go through the normal crypto cycle. I think we're just looking for we're in a bit of a dip area right now, waiting to see what the inauguration does, etc. If that is successful, this could be the dip right here, but we just got to confirm it, at least get it back over above for altcoins above that $330 billion market cap. And if you want to play it safe, okay, the final hurdle for me is at $404 billion market cap in US dollar terms, okay? You start closing weeks above, and again, daily, don't think about dailies because you can have a daily and then it just fakes you out like it does with gold and silver. The dailies aren't a long enough time frame. Closing weeks above here, very, very positive. That would really signal go time, I would say, for crypto for a little bit longer at least, okay? We're nowhere near there at the moment. We've at least got to close above that 330. And if you want to be conservative and wait for the 404, that's what you would want to do. Cool. Or potentially wait and then snap up some cheaper alts if it gets down to this kind of area. I won't look at anything other specific. Anything else I want to look at? No, that's probably it. I won't do anything specific. That's the altcoin market, and that was Bitcoin. That's it, people. Let's do some comments. Mark Florida says, "Got to run, Joe. See y'all. Keep Joe in line, Miss Tony." Yeah, all right. Let's go back to some comments. Okay, we're going to be talking about a bunch of conspiracy stuff here, probably. Nisara, Jasara, all that stuff. Let's go back and have a quick little chat about it. Okay, so we've talked about is USD the best place to be? There is cases to be made for both, yes or no. I totally agree with this. Oh, it's a great point. And by the way, as I've said, I went down the full rabbit hole in my early 30s. I went down the rabbit hole, learned how the world really works, and I'm all the way back up again. And I'm just a bit more skeptical of the really outlying things, okay? But I agree. The word conspiracy often is used to discredit what later becomes fact. Absolutely. Totally could not agree more. Let's see. Appreciate you responding to us. That's the GMS family. I can see that happening by 2026 if one of my conspiracies is true. Let's see. My conspiracy is not talked about, but things have happened to bring it to fruition by 2026, in my opinion. Which one is that are we talking about? Let's see. Final comments, and then I'll go through all of these, and then we'll get out of here, people. I proudly speak my truth, as you should, even if YouTube won't let me say the word in comment section. What? Well, I don't know what that means. Okay, cool. Beagle is a good replacement word. What is deagle? Deagle? What's Deagle? Man, I'm not down the rabbit hole anymore, so I'm not as au fait with the newest stuff. You can't say the word Deagle in comment sections. Why not? What does that mean? What am I missing here? Bald eagle or for eagle? Oh, goodness me. Many have never heard of the Deagle. Oh, Deagle report, though, and most don't care. Are you saying you can't put the word Deagle? If I say am I saying the word now and I'm going to get completely, throttled or something? Is that the case? If I'm saying the word Deagle, you say Deagle report, and you can't put that in comments or else your comment gets removed? Is that true? Okay, interesting. We're going right down the rabbit hole now. I love it. No one cares that when fully enacted according to Basel III, silver will be a tier 1 asset. Yes, Basel III. Yes, they have labeled gold a tier 1 asset, so it could become silver could become a tier 1 asset again. Yes, I do agree with that. What happened to the gold shipment? Yes, now we're going right down. What happened to the gold shipment Kennedy ordered before he got unalived and Lyndon redirected it to Zurich? I haven't heard that part of it. That's interesting. Let's see. Mark Florida. Also, if everything tanks, yes, if everything tanks on January 20th, the PM market, the precious metals market, might be a very tempting back up the truck moment. Yes, it might. In that kind of scenario, in that, January 20th, they want to tank everything, you would see precious metals going down like it did in the GFC and March of 2020. Everything went down. Even precious metals went down. But because it was a panic sell of everything to get back into the safety of the US dollar, you did see precious metals then bounce back quicker and then had a beautiful run in that time. Okay, and also compared to other assets as well. So that's why there's a case to be made for some people to hold just USD at the moment for that potential big crash where everything goes back down again, then snap up their assets, which they believe will be the one that most outperforms the other. And quite potentially in that scenario, it would most likely be precious metals. Okay, moving into the capital rotation event, which they highly outperform the stock market. 5 demerits for Gryffindor. It's going to make 1929 look like a walk in the park, potentially. Yep. Neil says, here's my prediction. By spring, platinum will be moving upward. By spring, as in southern hemisphere time. So by August of this year coming, platinum will be moving upward fast. Okay. In terms of platinum price, you see $850 first before you see the uptick. Yep, quite possibly. If we're getting down to that $850, I see $840 specifically. Platinum looking like my floor covered in the 70s shag carpet, a little bit squishy, padded, set on concrete. The whole platinum market will be going through a dynamic shift of market cap control. Yep. My brother's first house had grit. And now we're talking about shag pile carpeting. Tony Pearson, Executive Order 13849, also sent you the NASARA and US Acts, thank you, and regulations apply to the New South Wales Treasury Corporation, Joe, thank you. Were those the ones you sent me via Facebook? Are those the ones I haven't checked out yet? That might have been the ones which I haven't. Best investment these days, a blue roof. Man, you guys are really getting down the rabbit hole right now, man. If you know, you know that I do know that reference, the blue roof reference. By 2026, NASA, man, I love you guys. NASA lands a beacon on an expensive asteroid in the Kuiper Belt. International laws apply, and does what with it? That's what I'd like to know. What, mining gold, or why would they do that? And if it's going to be NASA, by the way, it's going to be NASA led by SpaceX. Just reading that the executive order of 13849 looks like it has to do with sanctioning foreign persons such as Russian oligarchs. Okay, fair enough. See, this is the thing. This is the thing with quote-unquote conspiracy theories. Are they true? Are they not true? I don't know. Okay, maybe they are talking about something completely different. GMS, I appreciate you taking the time to respond to everyone. Of course, that's the deal, man. It's getting harder and harder to do so with now 1,144 subscribers, 3,000 followers on X. It's getting harder. I'm spending a lot more of the time at the end. If you really, really want me to see a comment, like specifically you want me to read it out loud or you want me to see it, do a super chat, people. Number one, I get to see your comment and it gets read out loud. Number two, a little bit of this my way. Give a little bit helps with the show. Of course, I want to do this full time. Yeah. Joe is great like that. Oh, thank you. I'm slowly catching up. Always missed the first half of the stream. It's great to see you, David G. I'm about to go, though. Just so you know, YouTube doesn't post certain words. I'm going to try that and see what comes up. I'm going to try posting Deagle in a comment, all one word in someone's live chat, and just randomly see what happens. That's interesting. New economy. Ownership of... Oh, I see. Ownership of space objects and their value and uses. Yes, I mean, space is the final frontier. It really is. And there's a very good case to be made, and I'll talk about this very quickly, very, very quickly. And some other people have talked about this. Scott Adams, for example, has talked about it, and many other people have talked about it. Owning space or being the one that conquers space first is the next major thing to conquer. Absolute biggest setup for the USA and Russia to make peace, make proper peace, like official, not Cold War stuff, like make proper peace and to partner and to get along and to partner together. Why? To beat the Chinese. Okay, so there's a conspiracy. Thank you. I got a super chat from Neil. Neil, you are a legend. That will come through in just a second. I will check that super chat. Give me one moment. Neil, send me a super chat. You are the nicest. See, as I'm talking about that, and then someone sends me a wonderful super chat. If it will come up for me, unless I'm buffering now, it'll come up for a sec. That'll come up for me in a sec. I'll get that in just a moment. And Neil, thank you so much. Super chat. Appreciate it, my friend. Neil's Han Dynasty. Love it. Thank you, sir. Let me go back to that. That is why there's a big case to be made that the new incoming administration, and I have no doubt that they're trying to do this, the left-leaning people will say, oh, Trump is Putin's puppet. No, there's no evidence of that. It's just Trump wants to get along with people. Isn't it better to get along than to be warring? Isn't it better to think about the larger, big-term, long-term macro picture and go, hey, you want to rule space? Well, why don't we have a joint thing? And there's a long history of the US and Russia doing space together. Okay, this International Space Station. There's always like half US, half Russians on there. There's a big thing, and so it's like, let's make peace. Let's get this Ukraine war over and done. Let's open trade. Let's get rid of sanctions. Let's do all that, and then let's beat the hell out of the Chinese. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think that's what their thinking is, to conquer space. So because the first country or the first conglomeration of countries that conquer space, you've got it all, man. You conquer the space above, right? That's like, you've got world domination, basically. Okay, so that's why peace between US and Russia is the best idea. Yeah, let's have peace with everyone. Last comments, and then we'll get out of here. I think your chat might be on Top Chat. Top Chat appears out of order. Okay, if that's something I can change, I will, but I think that might be a you thing. I could be wrong on that, David. Was I supposed to say something? No, you don't have to say anything. You just give me money. That's great. No, there were YouTube videos, Joe. White YouTube videos. I sent you reports on Google to read. Yep, thank you. Just then, thank you. You need to read the whole order and related articles, Jason. Fair enough. The important bits are always buried in the pages of mind-numbing reading. Okay, fair enough. On that, people, we're going to get out of here because we're like an hour 15. We've talked about Is USD the place to be? We've given you the cases for and the cases against. Of course, again, we're just in this little no man's land area. Trump inauguration coming up, and then we could potentially have some fireworks in either direction. So I might even do that. That might even be tomorrow's topic, potentially, you know. We'll see. Anyway, that's been Good Morning Stackers for January the 14th. Tuesday. Tomorrow, I will do the live show. It might possibly be a little bit earlier, I'm not sure, but we've got something to do that we need to get to sort of around by like midday, 1 p.m., somewhere a bit of a drive away. So I will be doing the show tomorrow. It could start earlier. It might start on time. It might start at the right time, but it might be just a quicker show. So make sure you're around at 9:30 a.m. Don't come in halfway like David G. David G. That is it, people. We got to get out of here. As I've been doing, and I'm going to raise this up, we're going to play the theme song, my people. Absolutely love it. This is the Good Morning Stackers theme song, and we're going to do the Synchronised Slurp. That's where you grab a tasty beverage. I grab my tasty beverage. We slurp them synchronously together at the start and at the end of the show while we dance it out with the funky Good Morning Stackers theme song. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do the Synchronised Slurp in 3, 2, 1. Slurp it. Thanks for a great chat. Love your work. Stay safe, stay informed, keep stacking, and I'll see you all tomorrow.